if you in your fantasy league had the number one pick, who are you picking out of Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, Christian McCaffrey, or are you picking somebody else with the number one pick?
Let me preface it by this. I would still think Christian McCaffrey, possibly. I would still look at him. But if I'm looking at the other players and then literally anyone else, I think if you're the number one pick, you got to go with someone who you can rely on. Last year, I had a number one pick in one league. I don't even remember which league it was. And I drafted Christian McCaffrey, and he was phenomenal until he got hurt. So, I mean, it was worth it until then. So you got to go with, I think this year I would go with someone who's more reliable, and I think someone who's going to really benefit with a new addition. I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor not only has one of the best offensive lines in the game right now, they just got Matt Ryan, who I think is a complete upgrade over Phillip Rivers, who I've never been high on. I don't think Phillip Rivers was a good quarterback. I don't think he was a great quarterback. And he was at the down trajectory of his career when he came to Indianapolis. And then last year you had Carson Wentz, who completely fell apart against the Raiders and Jaguars, which was really weird, but we appreciate it, Wentz. And so now you have Matt Ryan, who, Matt Ryan, say what you will. I mean, there are going to be people who don't like Matt Ryan as much as Phillip Rivers, and I'm not here to debate that. That's fine. I like Matt Ryan a lot. If I had to pick Matt Ryan in his prime and Phillip Rivers in his prime, I would pick Matt Ryan. And I think Matt Ryan really suffered last year with a really terrible offensive line. And we don't talk about this enough. The Atlanta Falcons were kind of starting to win in late last year. Was it too little too late? Yes, it was. But at the same time, they were kind of making a push. So for me, I am definitely going to go with Jonathan Taylor, who's not only benefiting from a great offensive line, but is going to be benefiting from a smart, veteran, good quarterback. I really, really like Jonathan Taylor. So if my first pick, I'm going Jonathan Taylor.
I can respect it. I think I'm going to go a little bit outside the box just because this fantasy season has some different energy about it. So I would say I would take a flyer and I would take the risk and I would go Cooper Kupp just because of how we saw Matthew Stafford's connection with him, the Rams offense. Obviously Cooper Kupp has been in Sean McVay's offense, I think his entire career, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, the type of production Cooper Kupp had was definitely never to be seen from a wide receiver. But I think too, is even if he had a down season, supposedly, that is still probably number one or at least top 5 receiving production, which, you need at least a top 5, maybe even a top 3 receiver or running back to really have a good team. And I think if you take a chance on Cooper Kupp, especially with PPR style leagues, which is, I think, what everyone kind of does now, with the amount of receptions and yards and touchdowns that Cooper Kupp can get, basically just on any team in the NFC West, let alone the entire league, I think right then and there, I think you can take a chance on Cooper Kupp and it would probably serve you well just because of the amount of production you can probably get in Sean McVay's offense.
Absolutely, man. I don't hate it. I'm just a little worried about Matthew Stafford's elbow. That's the only reason I wouldn't go first pick, but I can respect it. I mean, Cooper Kupp, some people are saying he's the best receiver in the league right now, and I'm not going to debate it right now, but I would just be a little worried about Stafford. That's why I went with Taylor. He's a little more of a sure thing as of right now.